How are you doing?
Oh, good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, your movie is really amazing. It's quite a production versus a student. Tell me about how that got started and how you chose that folk, lore to do your. Is this your senior project or?
Yeah, yeah. That was my graduation project. I wanted to work with 3D. I took this practical seminar with Invendos on 3D before, and I was just completely, yeah, mesmerized by the technique, and I wanted to try it also as a narrative tool. So to see the narrative capacities and that yeah, so that was about the format and about the story. I just wanted to go back to Mexico, where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way take everything kind of that I learned in Germany and try to see it again, finish in back where I started in a way. So it was a very personal project in that sense.
Uh, had you grown up hearing about that folk tale? And it's
About the myth or
yeah,
of La
yeah.
Llorona. Yeah, I mean, La Llorona, that's like a very popular myth in Mexico about this woman that that murdered her children and then was haunted by her actions.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, I was really, really scared of it. I just, um, and I think it's really interesting that that there's still always people that are quite not so certain that it's not true, or that maybe it could be. So it was just part of this atmosphere of something that's kind of real and unreal, and yeah.
And how did the blending of the different times, like going back and forth in time, like how did you decide to incorporate those themes as well? And how difficult was that to keep changing the time frame, of the action when the action was taking place?
Yeah, I mean, I always feel that to portray a myth, or the way that children get involved in that, I think that time perception is very different. Um, in a sense, there's always, when I when I when I, for example, speak to my daughter about what she did yesterday, she can't really tell what happened quite yesterday, what was right now, what was afterwards, or what she's waiting for, and I wanted to bring these yeah, this confusion of what is present, what is past,
Mm-hmm.
and how everything is constantly repeating itself. Like we are always creating, being a part of the myth, and at the same time creating something new. So I wanted to sort of create that strange perception of time somehow in the film.
And all of the kids, were those professionals or were they people you knew? And I mean, just the cast in general, how did you go about? Um,
It was a mixture. I mean, so I had a lot of help, of course, with the producer helping me get the right kids, and some of them went to acting schools, but some of them were just really, yeah, trying it out for the first time, and
Mhm.
some of them it wasn't their first time, but they had no previous education, and I just found it incredible to work with kids. It was so simple. Like they wouldn't uh, be offended by having an instruction, or you wouldn't have to
Uh-huh.
think about how to. They were just really malleable, like, oh, not like that. Okay, we try it differently, and they were just really natural. They were great. Yeah, it was really amazing to work with kids.
Yeah. And in terms of just like budget and stuff for a student film, was that, I mean, obviously with the costumes and the setting, was that much different for your film than in other films that either you've done or you've seen in your classmates doing? It seems like that was much more ambitious, like even financially for a student, for a student film.
Yeah, I mean, I think financially, of course, that was a challenge. Especially, I I always try to go very simple, and it never ends simple. It's always really, it ends up big. And
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I've always worked with costumes and with makeup and over the top scenery and stuff like that. Um, Financially, it was a lot of hassle, especially because it was in 3D, and in 3D everything is just explodes in costs regard. But I'm sorry, my dog just started biting. No, but it was a challenge because it was requesting a lot of help. So a lot of people worked for no money. A lot of the things were provided also for free. The whole post-production was basically free. So it was just a lot of um, motivating a lot of people and keeping the motivation high so that we could achieve a project that was way above what it actually cost to make it. So in a sense.
And how long did the filming actually take for the film? Because there was so many elements in terms of, you know, changing location or theme, you know, a time period, and with the costumes. How long was the filming of that? For a
We
short.
shot the film in 5 days.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was kind of hard. But we only had 5 days in the location, so we didn't really have an alternative. And yeah, I mean, basically, we had everything that was needed to get shot was shot. I wish there were a couple of scenes that we didn't get to shoot, but of course, I would have always loved, because I think it would have made us a smoother transitions in certain parts. But I think but I think sometimes, for example, in the last scene, the scene starts in the day and ends at night. And I love how that happens, because it really works with the time. So with this time perception, strange, like warped time that the film has. But that was completely accidental. We just ran out of time and had to keep shooting. So and thankfully it was chronologic, but it was one of these things that happens in the shooting that you never would have planned it like that, and you're really happy that it happened like that. So,
oh, that's interesting. And then there was that beautiful scene, like it was almost like choreographed, like in the water, the like nymphs almost. How did that come about? Like, did you have that professionally choreographed when the women all started moving? It was so beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, I had this. I worked with a choreographer, and we would. I mean, I took dance all my life, like since I was a kid until I was like 16 or something. So for me, working with dancing and just with body movements is always really important. And I mean, as I mentioned, like I wanted to explore that also in 3D, so that was part of it. And I wanted then, to create something about this LLORONA character that wasn't like her talking, but that you would get to see her just through movement in a way. And between the choreographer and I would say like, well, I would like them to move. I integrate maybe something like that, and then she would create this really nice piece.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I just saw it. First of all, I didn't realize that was in 3D, because obviously, like, I saw it on my computer, but I can only imagine like what that would be like. Is that a challenge finding theaters that can do it in 3D for you? Like how and festivals and things, how does that work when like now it's all changed because everything's right now virtual, but I don't know, when you first started showing the film, like if you took it to festivals, like did they have the equipment to do the 3D? How does that work for you?
No, unfortunately, I think it was very seldomly shown in 3D. And I mean, yeah, and I actually like the project that I'm working on. So the project after that, used to be a project in 3D too, but after I saw that it was really, there was just not very much support for producing and much less for projecting a 3D film. I kind of had to change the format and consider rather a different aspect, like the capacity to have a long running format instead of something that goes more in that sense. Because I love about 3D that it really works with texture, and I think it's kind of sad that a lot of the 3D films that are out there are not challenging or trying to explore the different capacities, but of the media. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very how do you say, very very elaborate, and it's very complicated, but yeah, it's very difficult at the moment with 3D. I think for the moment, I mean, maybe I would make like something experimental little thing more for me than for anything. But yeah.
So have you graduated? Was that your final project? Are you now an independent filmmaker or graduate from film school? And
yeah, that was my graduation film, and after that I applied for a development
a grant.
Grant. Yes, thank you. A grant. I got this grant to develop my first and my next project, which is a TV series. So
oh wow,
yeah, and I just finished that, and then the Corona times came upon us. So
right, I know. So are you based in Germany now? Is that your
Hamburg?
So is your TV series a German TV series, or is it?
It's in English.
It's in English.
Yeah, it's in English. It's a little awkward. So it's it has like it's a critic to capitalism in a way, and it has two intertwined stories. One takes place in the 1800s, and the other one is a contemporaneous one. And in the one, it's more like about the society, or the workings of society, and it has like this surrealist story of these two sisters that move from the country to the town and try to make it by selling cakes. And it's very surreal. They make the cakes with this rosemary branch that grows out of the love wounds of one of them. And the other story is more about the personal dynamics in a family, so power dynamics. And and so I just finished writing it this year, and yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
No, that sounds great. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. I really enjoyed your film. It's really beautifully, and now thinking of it in 3D as well, I'm sure that just adds a whole nother layer that would make it just, enhance it so much further. But just restaurants, we're excited to show it in our festival, and thank you so much for your submission, and good luck in all of your projects. I really, I'll definitely keep watching you. It definitely seems like you always go like a little, like comparing it to other films was like always one step further. It seemed like in a lot of the production values that you had, and just the interpretation of a story. So I really do look forward to watching your other stuff.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you very much for choosing the film. I'm really happy that it's being shown in the festival and to be able to share it.
All right. Well, it's nice meeting you. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Bye.